Welcome to the Texas Resource Review Standards Alignment Publisher webinar. This training is specifically for programs that have not been adopted by the State Board of Education. My name is Janet Warren. I'm the Review and Adoption Coordinator for the Instructional Materials and Implementation Division. In this training, I will provide you with information you need to correctly complete your correlations. I will be discussing how standards alignment fit into the bigger picture, what a breakout is, what a citation is, where to enter citations, and how the review team determines standards alignment coverage and what your next steps are. This meeting is being recorded, and I will send the presentation slides to everyone registered for the webinar after the meeting. Please share this recording with your content team if they did not attend the webinar. Again, this training is specifically for publishers who do not have materials adopted by the State Board of Education. I want to call out that we're specifically talking about step 4 in the quality review process, the evaluation of standards alignment. Unlike the quality portion of the review, TEA manages the recruitment and standards alignment teams and the standards alignment process. Let's talk about some definitions. The Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills are made up of 3 parts: the introduction, the knowledge and skill statement, and the student expectations. The introduction is a description of the content and key information about the course and the standards. The knowledge and skill statements, which are sometimes referred to as KSS, are broad statements of what a student must know and be able to do. Student expectations are directly related to the knowledge and skill statements and provide specific information about how students demonstrate their learning. SEs come after the phrase, the student is expected to. TEA creates the breakouts to determine alignment to SEs in instructional materials. The breakouts are the component parts of each student expectation. The breakout is used to determine the coverage of a student expectation. TEA uses the language in the student expectation in the TEKS to create the breakouts. For Phonics, the SEs themselves contain Romanettes. These are not the breakout Romanettes, just a way of organizing a long student expectation. When a student expectation includes the conjunction and, everything separated by that word must be included in that instructional material. This example is from the English Language Arts and Reading Kindergarten SE 2B. The student is expected to demonstrate and apply phonetic knowledge by identifying and matching the common sounds that letters represent. You can see there are 4 breakouts. You can see here it's demonstrate and identifying, demonstrate and matching, apply and identifying, and apply and matching. You must provide at least 2 citations for each breakout, 1 narrative citation and 1 activity citation. A narrative and activity citation for all of the 18 breakouts for SE 2B must be accepted by the reviewers for the student expectation to be considered addressed. When a student expectation includes including, everything in the list following including will be a separate breakout. This example is from English Language Arts and Reading, Grade 1 SE 2B. There are 6 different parts to the SE, but I am only showing you part 5 of this SE for this example. The student is expected to demonstrate and apply phonetic knowledge by decoding words with inflectional endings including ED, S, and ES. All 3 of these are divided into separate breakouts, including ED, including S, and including ES. Since this SE also includes the word and, there will be 3 additional breakouts for applying phonetic knowledge by decoding words with inflectional endings, including ED, S, and ES. The instructional materials provided must provide alignment to all 42 breakouts in grade 1 SE 2B for this student expectation to be considered addressed. This example is from English Language Arts and Reading, Kindergarten, SE 2B. There are 6 Romanettes in the SE, but I'm only showing you the 3rd Romanette for this example. This SE is complex because it contains 3 different conjunctions, and, or, and such as. We've already discussed what to do when words are joined by and, so I'll skip that statement and move on to the or statement. When a student expectation includes or, the items in the list stay together in one breakout, and at least one of the items in the list must be addressed. The student is expected to demonstrate and apply phonetic knowledge by recognizing that new words are created when letters are changed, added, or deleted, such as it, hit, tip, and tap. Changed, added, or deleted are not separated out, and at least one must be addressed. Since the SE also includes the word and, there will be one additional breakout for applying phonetic knowledge by recognizing that new words are created when letters are changed, added, or deleted. This example also includes such as. It, hit, tip, and tap are illustrative examples only and are not included in the breakouts. You are not required to include each of the such as examples in your materials. The instructional materials must provide alignment to all 18 breakouts for SE 2B for this student expectation to be considered addressed. The specific breakouts included in phonics can be found in section 1 of the quality rubrics and are listed here. Don't worry, this isn't the last time that you'll see them. The phonics breakouts are also included on the Breakout Documents webpage under Chapter 110 for English Language Arts and Reading and Chapter 128 for Spanish Language Arts and Reading. Now we're going to talk about TEKS correlations. Let's do a quick recap on these definitions. The knowledge and skill statements are broad statements of what students must know and be able to do. Student expectations are what students are expected to know or demonstrate learning. And breakouts are the component parts of each SE. There are 2 new ones, citation and TEKS correlation. A citation is the identification of content that covers a breakout. The TEKS correlation is a document that contains all the citations submitted by a publisher for an instructional material or set of materials. A student expectation is considered addressed only if each breakout within the SE is addressed. There are 2 types of citations, narrative citations and activity citations. A narrative citation provides an opportunity for the teacher to teach the knowledge or skill, or an opportunity for the student to learn the knowledge or skill. An activity citation provides an opportunity for the student to demonstrate knowledge or practice the skill. Now we're going to talk about best practices for completing the TEKS correlation. It is crucial that you supply carefully constructed and accurate correlations. The state review panel uses your correlations as their primary reference as they review your instructional material. You are only able to provide a limited number of citations for each breakout. For that reason, it's important that you choose the best, most closely aligned content for every citation. Poorly chosen citations can impact your final TEKS percentage. Be very specific when describing the location of your citation. For example, for the description of the specific location, you might say top of the page or second paragraph or under the practice section. You must hyperlink to the exact location of the citation in your product. Be sure to test the hyperlinks you enter in the URL section on the dashboard. You want reviewers to be able to easily navigate to the content in your material that is referenced in your citations. Publishers are required to demonstrate alignment in both student and teacher materials. Student material is content intended for consumption by the student. Examples could be the student edition, workbooks, Blackline Masters from the teacher edition, assessments, readers, posters, and portions of the teacher edition that provide prompts of what the student should do. You'll select student teacher when citing content intended for student consumption. The reason that we named the audience student and teacher is that if accepted by the reviewers, publishers will also receive credit for covering this type of content in the teacher material, since every component in a program is available for teacher consumption. You'll select teacher when citing content that is intended only for the teacher. Examples of this would include guidance on how to implement a lesson, differentiated instruction, or monitor student progress. At a minimum, you must provide at least 2 citations from materials intended for students, 1 narrative citation and 1 activity citation for every breakout. You are required to demonstrate alignment in both the student and the teacher materials. However, remember from the previous slide that any citation accepted from the student material will count toward the coverage in the teacher material. This is because teachers use both the student and teacher materials to plan and deliver instruction. You'll have an opportunity to provide up to 4 narrative and 4 activity citations for each breakout. We encourage you to provide multiple citations in the event that the panel does not accept the first citation. Remember, a student expectation is covered only if each of its breakouts are addressed, and a breakout is covered only if a narrative and activity citation for that breakout is accepted. Reviewers will move through your citations for each breakout in this order. They'll review a narrative citation provided for all the student materials until they have accepted one or rejected all. This is why it's important for you to put your strongest student narrative citations first. If they reject all, they will move to the narrative citations provided from the teacher material, but these citations will not count toward coverage in the student material, which is your official TEKS percentage. The reviewers will repeat this process for the activity citations. Now we're going to start talking about using the dashboard and determining TEKS percentage. Let's all log into the Standards Alignment dashboard. The login button is at the footer of the Texas Resource Review webpage. Once you've logged into your account, you must add a program and then enter login credentials to access your materials at every program level. To do this, you will click on the My Publisher home link on the page, click Add Program, select the standard, enter the program title and the program ISBN, enter the username and password for the program. These credentials should allow access to all components in the program, and you will need to enter the credentials at every program level. Then you'll save your changes. I will do a quick demo to demonstrate this. So here's the Texas Resource Review page. You'll scroll down to the bottom and click Admin Login. You will select or enter your username and password and log in. You will click My Publisher Home. I have a list of examples here on mine. Yours will be blank until you've added your first program. You'll click Add Program. You'll select a standard from the drop-down menu. You will enter the title. You will enter an ISBN. And then you'll enter a username and password. Then you'll click Add Program. It'll take a minute to initialize. Then you'll see your program and the list of the programs at the bottom of the page. If you need to make any edits to this program, you can click on that link. You're also able to manage your users by clicking on Manage Users and add additional users. So once you've created your program, you're going to click on that program. You will need to add components to your program. So you can either add components by uploading a CSV file, or you can add individual components. So we're going to add a program component individually. And we're going to call this test component 2. There's an additional ISBN field if this program or component would have a digital and print version. I'm going to select student and teacher, but as you can see, you have student and teacher or teacher only. Then you'll select the product type from the drop-down, and you can select the format. I'm going to leave this as a textbook. And you'll enter the URL for that component. Then I'll save the component. Then once you've added all of your components to the list, you'll click on View Correlations. Once you're in View Correlations, you're going to go to the student expectation. And you'll see a list of the student expectations here for phonics. You'll click on Go to Correlation. And you will add a narrative activity citation and a narrative citation and an activity citation. So when you click on Add a Narrative Citation, you will enter the student, the audience is student teacher. You can change that if it needs to be teacher only. You'll choose the component. I only have the one component I've created so far, but you may have multiple. You'll enter the page number or page numbers that you're citing. You'll enter the citation URL, and then you'll enter the specific location. If your material ends up being a PDF, and the viewer on the PDF has a different page number than the actual page, then you will want to enter the page number, also the PDF page number, in your description of specific locations. Then you'll save your citation, and it will be listed there. And you can add another one. Remember, you can add up to 4 narrative citations and up to 4 activity citations. And you'll go to View Next Correlation once you've finished with this one, and move forward until you've entered all your breakouts, or all your correlations for the breakouts. You can go back to your name, or actually we're going to go back to the product. And if you need to edit the program information, you can do that by clicking on Edit Program Information. You need to update that username and password. And like I said before, if you need to enter additional users. You can click on Manage Users. You can add a user and add the added name. Okay. So now we'll go back to finishing our presentation. Before I get into determining your TEKS coverage percentage, I want to let you know that the Standards Alignment Dashboard will automatically calculate and display your TEKS percentage as you enter your correlations. When you enter or when you click on Submit for Review, you'll be given the chance to override the system calculated score. For a review against a full set of TEKS, publishers may use this option. For the purposes of this review, that won't be necessary. You can enter the system calculated score when you submit for review. The system calculated score is calculated by dividing the number of student expectations for which you provided the required citations by the total number of student expectations. This is the highest possible score you can receive based on the number of citations you provided. For example, in English language arts, in reading, phonics, grade kindergarten, there are 5 student expectations. If you provided at least 2 citations, 1 narrative, and 1 activity for each of the breakouts associated with 4 of the student expectations, then you would calculate your score by, you would divide the total of the SEs you provided citations for, which is 4, divided by 5, which is the total number of student expectations, and you'll get 80. There are times when, in which reviewers will reject some of your citations that you provided. You'll be given an opportunity during the review to provide new content or new citations for the rejected breakouts, as long as your product is found by the reviewers to meet at least 75% of the system calculated score. If you are found to be eligible to provide new content during the review, you will have 48 hours from the time you receive your initial report to do so. So it is important that you coordinate with your content staff to ensure they are available during that time. We ask that everyone submit a preliminary round of correlations, which will allow TEA staff the opportunity to review your approach and provide feedback. We will be evaluating your correlations for completion, clarity, and accuracy, but we do not provide feedback about the actual content cited. We ask that you complete the citations for at least 1 complete student expectation before requesting feedback. After the preliminary round of feedback, we are happy to provide ongoing feedback if requested. Now we'll go to the next steps. You will need to identify who on your team is going to enter the citations into the Standards Alignment Dashboard. We have set up an account for at least 1 person for each company. If you need to add additional users in the Standards Alignment Dashboard, you may do so. If you have any issues with that, please submit a help desk ticket and we'll assist you. We have set up weekly office hours every Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Central Time, beginning on March 30th and ending on June 29th. The link to the office hours is on the slide, but I will also be providing it in the email with the recording. You will begin to work on your preliminary correlations, and then you'll begin identifying the team who will provide support during the standards alignment review. Your preliminary correlation is due on April 15th. TEA staff will then spend the next week reviewing it and providing feedback to ensure the review team members receive clear and concise correlations. The final correlations are due on July 1st. If you have any questions, please submit an instructional materials and implementation help desk ticket or attend the office hours that begin on March 30th. We really appreciate any feedback. It is important to us, so please complete the exit ticket. We thank you for your time attending today. And again, please let us know if you have any questions or need further assistance. Thank you.